So if you're anything like me and you are a professional filmmaker, you do filmmaking for a living, you've most likely used a gimbal before. Gimbals were basically became a thing actually like only a few years ago, and they are so great. First of all, gimbals help you get stable shots. They just look professional. They're just super fun to use. But at some point, if you're anything like me, you've realized that after using a gimbal for so many years, it actually starts to wear on things like back pain, and it starts to tense up your muscles, and it just causes a lot of discomfort the day after your shoot. So usually after one take, in the beginning, I could use a gimbal, the whole day and not even get tired. But over the years, my back and my upper back especially, in between like my shoulder blades, started to really hurt. Actually, like after one take of like maybe filming for a couple of minutes, I would actually have to put the gimbal down and start to like just stretch a little bit, because it was really uncomfortable using a gimbal in the last year or two. And I stumbled upon a video by Best Boy Adam, and he made an RS2 Trinity version just from things that he bought off the internet, and actually just built it together, put it together, and I was completely blown away by it. And so I wanted to make my own version of it because, first of all, it looks professional and super great. Second of all, it gives you really stable shots, something that a gimbal can't give you, and I'll explain more on that later. And third of all, it saves your back. So when everything is on my harness, like all the weight is on that arm, on that stabilizer arm, it takes all the weight off my shoulders, and it actually puts it on my hips and spreads it out all over my back. So I know the Tilt-A-Float has it where it wraps around your waist, and they're basically trying to combat the same problem, essentially, where gimbal use is hurting people's backs. So moving on from that, I just want to talk about what I actually came up with, because this is not the version that Best Boy Adam had on his YouTube channel, and it's actually not like any other version on YouTube. This is my own little RS2 Trinity build that I put together over the course of like a couple months, and I had some help with my dad, just kind of tinkering around with it a bit and making custom fittings all into the gimbal. But essentially, I'm just going to quickly explain what the whole component looks like. So at the top, we have the DJI RS2. Now you can use other gimbals, just smaller ones, but the reason that I chose the Ronin RS2 for this build was the fact that I could hold Blackmagic's, Sony's, I could hold small, basically handheld cameras, I could hold small cinema cameras. And with my plan to eventually start moving into higher end cinema cameras like Red cameras, I'd be able to fit this and use this with, say, a Red Komodo. So that's the reason I chose the RS2. Plus is just probably like the flagship gimbal that DJI has to offer right now. And so then moving on, I have the Devin Graham glide cam attachment here. So this long piece of the bar with this handle right here is the Devin Graham glide cam, the signature series. The reason I chose this was, again, Best Boy Adam had it in his, and it's actually one of the only glide cams that is more robust, can handle a lot of weight. It's really versatile, and it just stretches longer, so it allows you to balance your contraption more easily. Then after that, at the bottom, what I have is some weights. So these weights I just bought off of Amazon, but they are 1 or 2 kilogram weights, I believe, and they're just to offset the weight from the gimbal, camera, battery, and other weighted plates. And at the bottom I have the RS2, the 3-legged stand. I have that at the bottom, so I can put my Trinity, RS2 Trinity down, sit it upright. Yeah, and then over here I mounted a V-mount battery plate, and this will just hold the battery, the V-mount that powers the gimbal, and then eventually it can power things like, so the gimbal powers the Raven Eye, and then the camera's powered on its own. But if I wanted to power the camera through the V-mount, I could potentially do that. And then so to combat the weight of the V-mount battery, I have other weights from the Devin Graham glide cam weighted kit, and so I counterbalanced it like that. And then I have some 2-pin to D-tap, so I can power the RS2 with the V-mount battery. And then So to top it all off, I have the Flycam Vista 2. This Flycam vest is actually one of the top of the line ones, so it can hold a ton of weight, and it just looks bulkier, can hold more weight, it's more comfortable, and you can adjust a lot of the features to basically allow it to adjust to your body and how tight you want it and where you want the weight to sit. So, and then to finally top it all off, I have a small little stand. It's from Lowell, New York, fully made from metal, and it's so durable. And what I love about this is that the base is so incredibly wide. What I love to do with this is I actually put it down and then I extend the stand, and I actually balance the whole RS2 Trinity build on here. So I take my RS2 Trinity, and essentially this is currently balanced to how my camera would be, but I'm using my camera to film, so I won't be able to show. Essentially what I do is when I have the V-mount mounted onto my RS2 Trinity, I stack it in, and so because of the weight of the V-mount battery, I have to counterbalance it with some weights. So I put the weights on this side, and now my camera doesn't drop to one side. It actually stays completely balanced in the middle. After I have balanced my camera onto the gimbal, I basically just balance it on this stand. When I have it balanced, I just tighten this screw and then put my vest on, take the RS2 Trinity off the stand, and then I just mount it onto the vest. So to quickly demonstrate that. Alrighty, so once I got my vest on, I just tighten it. It's actually tightened to how I would use it. And then there's a little thing here, I don't know what to call it. It's like a extension from the arm. And essentially, the inside of this glide cam, my dad helped me to fit a custom pipe in there. So because the shell of this was too wide for this and it would wobble around, so this makes it a perfect fit. So what I do is when I have this perfectly stabilized, I take it off, slide it on, and then I adjust the weight using these knobs over here. Essentially now everything sits on my hips and the weight is distributed around my body, and I can go down, go like this, and around. Essentially, that's the whole build. There's not much to it. The reason I chose to put all the batteries and everything up top was because there's no way to wire this all around without getting interference with the actual handle of the glide cam. In Best Boy Adam's video, he wrapped a really long D-tap. I think it was like a 25 or 50 foot D-tap to 2-pin. That was just too long. First of all, I couldn't find it, and second of all, it would just create some sort of wiring that would be hard for me to basically have the full movement and full versatility that I wanted. So mounting it all here, there's actually brackets given with the RS2 that actually allow me really easily to mount cheese plates and V-mount battery, V-mounts. And then, yeah, just counterbalancing it was super easy as well, because there's a bunch of 1/4-inch screws on the bottom of the tilt connector. Essentially, I've used this on a couple of shoots, and the amazing benefit of building one of these for yourself is actually what I noticed the day after using it, is that I woke up and usually I would have back pain that I need to roll out for maybe a couple days after my shoot, and I'd wake up sore in the morning and my upper back would be really sore to the point where it almost like takes over my headspace, and all I can think about is, you know, there's a small little cloud over my head that's just the back pain. This is really a perfect setup where I can go from low to high. I can spin the camera around. I can literally let go of the camera and of this gimbal, and it just comfortably floats in midair. I don't need to touch it. I can literally just balance it, put it in the position that I want it to, let go and just walk forwards or walk backwards, and it'll follow me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Comment what you think of this build and if you'd build one for yourself. And yeah, shout out to Best Boy Adam for building this thing and helping me save my back. I really appreciate it. Love your videos. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later in another video. See ya.